This is the show where two friends from different parts of the world discuss all things, all elite wrestling. And one of them actually knows what they're talking about. We'll let you decide. Welcome to the Beauty and the Beard Pro Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Woody and Sarah.
This is your Dynamite review for June 26, 2021. This was the Saturday night Dynamite, the last weekend Dynamite before we finally get back to our normal schedule of Wednesdays. So, yes, I was excited for this Dynamite, but I was maybe even more excited for the fact that we get back to some sense of normalcy.
We get movie nights at my house again at the weekend.
Oh, but it felt like my favorite Dynamite since Double or Nothing. I feel like we're going back on an upward scale now. I feel like it's going to keep getting better and better at this point. Feels like an upward trend with this show to me.
I feel like we're definitely going up a bit. I just think, for me, more of the I'm trying to remember like the show now, but more of the kind of like the segments, as in like the matches were great, but I feel like the segments played more of a part this week, as in like kind of moving stuff forwards, because next week is obviously we're back on normal times. Thank you very much, AEW, for doing that. And then it's the last one at Daly's place. Then it's back on the road. And obviously they need to then start, getting these storylines properly going. Because I think we could all agree that they kind of took a slump because, like, obviously there's no point in building up to, like, the big points of storylines if there's no one to see it. So then when the crowd started coming back, we went up a notch again. And then Double or Nothing was absolutely fantastic. Then we kind of like simmered down a bit again and just kind of did stuff for that pop the crowd, which you can 100% understand. And now we're going back up now because now we've got the crowd 100%, and then we're going on the road. So these stories now can, start moving forward at a more normal pace than they have been doing for the last year and a bit. So, I definitely feel like the segments kind of really help tie everything in together than what they have done recently, is what I'm going to say.
I can't argue with that at all. No. I'm ready to jump into it. So am I. Sarah, are you ready to talk some Dynamite?
I am. Let's go.
All right. The show started with us seeing Sammy arrive at the arena, and Alex Marvez was trying to get a word with him, but he didn't get a word with him, really, because the chairman, the former chairman, I guess who's still kind of the chairman because he has a chair all the time, Sean Spears. Crazy psycho Sean Spears.
Love crazy psycho Sean Spears.
Attacked Sammy from behind with the steel chair, sending him to the ground and walking away, leaving Sammy Guevara in pain. So we were left to wonder, what's going to happen with Sammy? Is he going to be ready for MJF? We're going to see him again tonight? There's a pretty good chance we're going to see him again tonight. Just letting you know.
If you've not watched the show, why are you listening to the review? But there's a pretty good chance.
Pretty good chance. Yeah. Within the opening match, we saw Hangman Adam Page take on Powerhouse Will Hobbs of Team Taz, and this was a banger of an opener.
Oh my god!
I thought this was great, but leading to Ricky and Hook coming out. This was a big part of the match. Ricky Starks and Hook came out to try to help Powerhouse Hobbs win the match with the FTW belt. They had the belt with them. But Brian Cage came out to stop him. So again, we're getting that dissension within Team Taz because Cage went for Ricky. Ricky snuck between Cage's legs, again holding his neck. Protect the neck. So he took off through the tunnel. So Cage went after him. Hobbs at one point, this is a great point in the match. Will Hobbs countered the buckshot lariat into a spine buster, and it was beautiful. The camera didn't quite catch it on the show.
No, it didn't.
I know, and I watched a slow motion clip of this move on Twitter afterwards, and I shared it. I tweeted it out, so it looks amazing. If you get a chance to watch it, I even described it as saying it was the most beautiful thing I'd seen all day, and I had to apologize to my wife and daughter, but it was absolutely beautiful. But in the end, though, Adam Page won the match by hitting the Deadeye on Will Hobbs for the 1-2-3. So, Sarah, talk to me about this opener.
I love Hangman openers. I don't know what it is, but he never seems to have lackluster matches. Like, they just go from, like, start to finish. And, I mean, surprisingly, my husband watched this match. I am so happy that weekends are over. It just means I don't get this, like, sarcastic commentary coming from a corner.
You don't want him watching the matches with you?
No, do you know why I don't want him watching the matches? Because he sits in the corner and just says sarky comments, or like starts re-altering the title music of Dynamite using the naughty word instead of dynamite. And I just can't deal with that negativity in the morning.
It kind of reminds me, I'm thinking of, have you ever seen The Muppet Show?
Yeah.
The old guys up in the things that are making the comments. That's what I'm picturing your husband as. Not as an old guy, but
I'm just there eating my fruit, yogurt, and muesli in the morning with some tea and enjoying my show. And he's there going in the corner. So love him to bits, but he does my nut in with it. Anyway.
All right.
So back to what I was talking about.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing, and like poor Hangman, he properly like clocked his head as well. Like that was like blood. Like that wasn't like, you know, oops, I did an oopsie. That was no, I actually knocked my head on the ring post. It now bleeds. Situation. So, and I just love where Daz was going, oh, I wonder what size cut it is. And Mister in the corner of my living room went, if it's a big cut, he'll need his head shaved. I was just like, what? Shut up. Then obviously, like, you know, Ricky and Hook trying to help their friend, you know, we've taken off somebody else's belt, which maybe that's why Brian Cage wasn't happy, because it was his belt.
Yeah, it's my belt.
Yeah. But Ricky just like crawling through his legs, I think will stick with me forever. Just and then all of a sudden realizing his neck and just like kind of stumbling, trying to hold his neck at the same time. It was such a good fun match to open with. And like, you know, Hangman getting his beers, and again, mentions from the corner going, oh, that was Stone Cold Steve Austin's gimmick beer. I was like, yeah, well, he did it from the crowd originally. He's not, you know, watch it. He's not like doing the whole thing. Just he's stuck in the 2000s.
Stone Cold wasn't the only person in the world to drink beer. That's
exactly. So yeah, so he was moaning about that, and then I sent him outside. So, but yeah, it was good fun match. I loved it.
You sent him back. You sent him back to the garden.
Damn right, I did. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that was a fun opener. But the next segment was a little more serious. We got Conan. You know, and Conan has a special place with me. I grew up again watching WCW, man, and he was such a big part of Nitro. So much energy every Monday. Anytime Conan hit the ring, cut a promo, it was just a ton of energy. I always love watching him. So seeing him on Dynamite every now and then it's really cool to me. So this segment, we saw Conan coming out representing Proud and Powerful, and Tully Blanchard representing FTR, with a face-to-face, a verbal sparring between the two in the ring.
Yeah.
And Conan made it clear that there is a big difference between how Santana Ortiz grew up and were raised and how FTR grew up. because the FTR tried to draw comparisons to how they were raised before, and it didn't seem like Conan took that lightly, because he thinks there's a big difference between how the two were raised. Tully, though, said that all he has to do is snap his fingers and FTR would attack. Conan then said he was ready for that and brought out Santana and Ortiz. Or did he? Because footage appeared on the screen of Santana and Ortiz injured in the back. They were found, on the ground, injured by an attack, apparently. And we found out that the two guys who had walked out that we thought were proud and powerful were actually Dax and Cash. And they attacked Conan, gave the Lucha legend a spike pile driver that looked brutal. So what did you think of all this? I mean,
one, kudos to Tully Blanchard and his sparkly blazer. Like it. Conan's just awesome though, when he just was just like, yeah, I'm gonna talk shop. I was just like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
I loved this. I loved the fact that Tully didn't really have much combat for most of it. He just kind of stood there, and I was just like, he literally can't say anything at this point because everything else that's being said by Conan is true. So you can't actually say anything. So, and then obviously, like, when Proud and Powerful in inverted commas came out, I literally was looking at him because the camera got from was recording from behind, and I just went, "Them hands are too slim." That's all too wrong. I'm hoping I'm pretty sure everybody knew from that point it wasn't them.
Yeah.
But I was just like, no, not fooling me. Not this time, AEW. I shall not be fooled.
No.
And then obviously it cut to the back, and I was genuinely just gutted that they weren't going to come out. I was a bit like, I wanted to see something go down in the ring, and then something went down in the ring, and I wasn't happy about it. What is it with the Pinnacle people hurting legends and people that need to be kind of given more respect? Yeah, so naughty FTR. I can't believe they did that.
This really gave some heat to FTR though, because this is the most. I mean, they've been playing heels this whole time with the Pinnacle, obviously, but this is the most anger I've felt, I guess, as a fan watching this as a story unfold towards them, like they've just done something wrong. Whoa, guys, okay.
And also, I think because after the whole Stadium Stampede thing, there was a lot of talk online going, well, how can we take the Pinnacle seriously now? Because they've kind of just lost in and how they going to because obviously when the Inner Circle was doing the heel stuff, there was nobody else really to compete against. And the way that the Pinnacle are going to work after the Stadium Stampede match is try and kill legends, apparently. So that is definitely one way to become the most hated faction, and also to see the complete and utter parallel between what the Pinnacle is and what the Inner Circle is now. So I think they've done this I know everybody's kind of worried to begin with, but I think what they're doing, obviously slightly trying to kill legends aside, it's actually quite clever how they've done it, because what better way to generate heat and animosity towards a group of people than just wreck people that everybody idolizes.
Yeah. Right, because they took out.
You might as well go do it to JR and Tony Schiavone. Do you know what I mean? This is what I'm think this is as bad as it can be until they start going that way.
Because they took out Dean Malenko last week and then Conan this week. So if you're a legend that shows up next week,
in wrestling AEW, you better watch yourself.
Watch out. Just stay away from the Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Everybody else is okay. Pinnacle, not so much. So air traffic control had to be called in for this next match as Matt Sydal took on Dante Martin of Top Flight. And I'm just going to say this. Look, Matt Sydal is solid every time. Dante Martin, the more we see him in singles action, especially in this match, I am loving this kid more and more.
He is
And
amazing.
He's just it's athletically it's hard to I mean, we talk about how great Ray Phoenix is every time we see him. I could see Dante Martin on that same level at some point in his career. I mean, keep in mind he's like 20 years old. I think he just turned 20, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he just turned 20. So I mean you just sounds like a cliche, but literally with him the sky is the limit.
100%.
Yes. But I mean, I think we all knew Matt Sydal was going to go over in this match, and he did, because the match ended with Dante, when he missed a top rope move, tweaked his knee, and allowed Sydal to hit him with the lightning spiral for the win. But again, I cannot say enough about Dante Martin.
No, he's brilliant, absolutely fantastic.
Look out.
And
yes,
you can just see, this is another thing for AEW. Like what I now want to say is the first generation of homegrown AEW. You've got Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, MJF, them, and then the second wave that I come up behind them, Dante Martin and Top Flight in general, and it's just it's such a good basis for the company. You can imagine in 5-10 years, just how much these wrestlers are going to be loads, they're great now, but how much they'll improve as well. And then how you'll just be able to remember is like we said before, watching AEW from the start is such a special thing. It's great whenever you join in, but if you watch it from the start, it's such an awesome thing seeing these guys that came in from the indies, not really any TV kind of knowledge or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. And now seeing them, what they're becoming before your eyes in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. It still baffles me that this is a thing. And for the people that saw The Rock and Steve Austin go from where they started to what they became, it's the same thing. And it's just a nice little niche part of history that in 30-40 years time, people that are still watching wrestling, doing a podcast probably, are going to look back and go these matches of 2021 and all this type of stuff. I just think that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
I mean, because you talked about the tiers. I mean, we do have you talk about homegrown talent. You could say the people think of that are AEW right now. You have Adam Page, MJF, Orange Cassidy, those guys that are on this tier. Then you mentioned the next, you could go with Jungle Boys and the guys like that, and then the next tier you got Dante Martin, you got Lee Johnson, you got Sean Dean, who we haven't seen a lot on Dynamite, but guys like that we're gonna see just start bubbling up, and man, and then the next tier under that, there's just so many tiers, and you're looking, you see people in every tier that you relate to or that you root for, and you're like, I can't wait. We've seen Anthony Ogogo get a spotlight recently. Now, he's one of those guys that are on that tier just under the top guys that, I mean, it's absolutely agreed. It's going to be a fun ride.
Oh, 100%.
And not everybody's going to get a spotlight right off the bat, but it's just that growth that you see. You can just,
and with Rampage coming up as well, there is so much place for the talent. I mean, we know AEW's roster is extensive. Not everybody is contracted that is on AEW, any of the stuff, because obviously there's Elevation and Dark and stuff, so they can have indie wrestlers come in, if they just, even after, even once wrestling comes back and we're out of, not the pandemic era, but just kind of getting some relatively back to normal. Indie wrestlers can still come into AEW and wrestle on Elevation and on Dark. It's still there, but once them the people that are coming through Dynamite now get them reps in with people that are constantly wrestling because they're on the indie side, they'll get them reps in, and they're just going to become better and better and better. And when there's space for them to have something going on Dynamite, they'll be ready, and you just be like, where did they come from?
Yep. And you talk about that indie talent that you see on Dark and Dark Elevation. And you watch those shows too, and there's guys like that you want to see signed by AEW also. I mean, like Danny Limelight, who we talked to last week. Yeah. Guys like that you see on Dark and Dark Elevation that you're like, man, get these guys on the official roster. And speaking of that, I'm guilty. I know you are, of not watching Dark and Dark Elevation all the time. But just don't have a ton of time to do it. I watched Dark. Yeah, but I did. I watched Dark Elevation this last one. And I'm telling you guys, if y'all are not watching it, it's absolutely worth watching. Dark Elevation was about an hour and a half. It was a blast. I love that. And you get more promos on that than I remember seeing on Dark when I watched it. Yeah. Some of the promos are really good. So these guys are not only getting reps in the ring, and I know we're going off on a tangent here from this match, but it relates to Dante Martin. Yeah. Because Dante Martin and Matt Sydal are both guys that get featured on Dark Elevation and Dark a lot. But some people are getting promo reps on there also. So there's promos that are happening there that you don't see on Dynamite that are really, really good. But they're getting a chance to work on that promo work on Dark Elevation so that when they get the chance on Dynamite on live TV, that they can hit a home run with those. So such a vital part of it.
And also they on Dark and Dark Elevation, I mean, Danny Limelight wrestled John Moxley on there. Do you know what I mean? So the if you want to say the more established wrestlers on Dynamite, sometimes they have periods where nothing's going on for a bit. So they can end up in matches with people that you'd never think of. And they're a blast, absolutely great to watch. So I just think it's amazing, what is going on in the company. And, I just can't wait to see what more Dante can do, because once I keep seeing he's a prime example. I'm like, right, I need more now. I need more, and you're just constantly wanting more. I just can't. I just love what's going on. But I'm so excited. So excited for whatever comes for that guy, because he's brilliant.
He is. But during something we didn't talk about during that, or actually before the match actually started between Matt Sydal and Dante Martin, was Vicky Guerrero kind of interrupted the entrances, and she brought out Andrade, and they were about to make an announcement about their surprise, but then that's when they were interrupted. It seemed like they were gonna finally reveal what the surprise was, but they didn't get a chance to do that, because that's when Matt Sydal's music hit, and that kind of interrupted Andrade, and of course it makes us wonder what the surprise is going to be, but it also makes me wonder if we're not going to see Andrade versus Matt Sydal also, because
that's
that could be his first match.
Because of the look that they gave each other, I was just like, what are they thinking?
and we talk about how great Sydal is in the ring anyway, so that is a match from an in-ring standpoint. It would be 2 thumbs up. Yes.
Oh my goodness, definitely.
Absolutely. So I think that might be a good direction to go for his first match in AEW for sure. But that tease again with the surprise. I have a pretty good feeling that surprise may come out next week or Wednesday. Will be next week. It'll be this week. We don't have to wait just a few more days until Dynamite comes out. That's amazing. After that, we saw Jungle Boy backstage, and Christian popped in to give Jungle Boy a pep talk before his ginormous world title match later on with AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. So just give him a pep talk, let him know that he's got a chance to shock the world, just like he did in that Battle Royale when he eliminated Christian. Yeah, a nice little pep talk.
Nice little segment.
Yeah. But after that, we saw Alex Marvez with members of the Pinnacle, MJF, Shawn Spears, and Wardlow backstage. And MJF made sure he wanted us to know that he thinks everyone should thank him for his attack on Dean Malenko last week, because he gave Dean an early retirement, in his words. But Jake Hager and Jericho obviously did not agree with this because they ran in and started beating the mess out of the Pinnacle members. This brawl that broke out led to the ring. It all just kind of moved to the ring in front of the crowd. And eventually the Pinnacle got the upper hand because they had the 3-on-2 advantage.
Yeah.
But that's when Sammy Guevara's music hit, and we realized that he was A-OK after the chair shot from Sean Spears earlier. And he came out to save the day, basically attacking everybody with his own steel chair. And afterwards, Sammy told MJF that on Wednesday, I'm going to show you I'm the best, and you know it.
Oh, my goodness, you got to love this angle. I am loving this right now. Like, this just reminds me of, like, wrestling that I fell in love with. Just, like, proper, war between, like, two groups of people. I love it. And Sammy Guevara as a babyface is the best thing that I've seen him do on Dynamite. Because he's just brilliant.
Just so fired up.
I know, and he's just generally he's got so much bounce in him when he's being a babyface. He suits this so much. And what makes it even better is he's like a multi-layered dimensional babyface as well. He's not just, got one thing going and that's it. He is just like, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And I think MJF and Sammy working apart from each other can bring out the best in each one. Because there's a lot of material MJF has to work with as far as trying to get under Sammy's skin if he really wants to.
Yes.
So there's
how far he can push it though, I don't know.
I know that, but there's a lot there though. There's a lot of stuff that I think
they've already started it on Twitter.
Yeah, they can really push the envelope there. It could get you could get into some dangerous territory. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
But there is potential. It's like watching it just to see how far they'll push that envelope and then back it up a little bit. It's not going too far.
What I'm really curious about as well is, like, I loved Sammy against Darby. Like, their matches were fantastic. Like, Revolution match that it had before obviously everything got shut down was crazy. I can't wait to see one-on-one Sammy and MJF, because
I know
we've seen MJF against, like, Marks and obviously Jericho and stuff like that, but someone that kind of is like along MJF's age, kind of started the same time as each other, entered the company at the same time, all that. I just can't wait to see how that works out.
Yeah, because they're both on the same trajectory.
Exactly.
They really are. That's what you're saying. They're on the same level.
Yeah.
And it's really one where it's hard to really look at it and pick a winner too. Because you can make a general case for either one.
Yeah.
But I will say I do love how they really have built the main events for the following Dynamites really well in these last couple of shows. They really built this Jungle Boy Kenny Omega match really well last week, I thought, or the couple weeks leading up to it to get here. And tonight really made me ready for this MJF versus Sammy Guevara match. Like, I want to see it now. Like, and that's what you want. You want that hook. That okay, I cannot wait until next week. I literally cannot wait till Wednesday.
Yeah.
So here we go.
I also love the fact that constantly everybody's constantly saying that loves AEW, like MJF, Sammy, Darby, Jungle Boy. They are literally the future champions of this company, and look at how the future champions are actually like being portrayed right now. Like, there is good stuff going on for these guys, and I'm lapping it up, man. I'm lapping it up. I love it. I love it so much.
And it's those roots that are growing because it's like when it's time for them to get their moments, to get their chance with the title, it won't seem out of nowhere, because we will have been along for that story, and it'll make sense because they're ready. We've seen that. So very important stuff that's happening right now to these guys.
100%.
Next, we had Miro alone backstage
I love
somewhere.
these promos.
And he told us, he reminded us of some things that he was thankful for, like his power and his flexible wife.
His flexible hot wife.
Yes, so he did say that. I didn't hear that incorrectly, though. He did say
he did say that. He said
okay.
His hot wife who's incredibly flexible, I think.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So there's some things that are very, you should be thankful
specific
for. And yes, exactly. And then he let Brian Pillman Jr. know that on Wednesday he will find out why Miro is God's favorite champion.
I love Miro right now.
Yes.
I know he hurt Darby, but I don't really blame Miro for that. I mainly blame Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page for that. But I just love what he's doing now. I just can't believe we're here with him. Like, this is happening. From what he did to what he was doing to then coming to AEW and what he did to what he's doing now, I just can't not smile every time I see him because he is loving this right now. You can tell he's loving this right now.
There seems to be a progression to his promos, and they all have kind of the same theme, but they keep growing, evolving as they go.
I love that.
Wow, he has hit another level for sure.
Oh, 100%. I love how he does kind of he has a formula for his promo right now. And like you said, it changes, but the basis is still the same. It just keeps getting, I think that's actually quite a good thing for him to do, especially for now, is to have that basis of a promo. And then for whoever it's angled at, you can add in other stuff. It's big like what like the Acclaim do with rapping. They've got that formula, but then they just add stuff in for whoever they're against. It's quite smart because it can become kind of a trademark, a bit like what Penta says. Like that became a trademark really quick. Like as for like that for Penta and so I just I just love this stuff. I love stuff like this.
I'll be very disappointed if I don't see Shop AEW have a God's favorite champion shirt.
Oh, I know.
Very, very soon. Or even I'm thankful for my hot flexible wife t-shirt. Either one. I mean, I'm sure my wife will love me wearing that around.
I don't know how my husband would react. Have you got something to tell me, love? Yeah, I'm also a woman. 21st century and all.
That would be amazing.
It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities neither. He would he would believe me as well, probably be like, well, okay. When's she moving in?
Nice shirt. Can I get one too? So, it's okay.
Wives.
All right. Wives. Plural.
Poor guy.
Pray for him every day. Pray for him every day. I need everybody out there praying. Join with me. Light a candle for Sarah's husband.
He has me to deal with.
He needs all the help he can get.
He really
okay.
Does.
All right. So next we had All Ego Ethan Page versus Bear Bronson from Bear Country. And my question going into this, and I tweeted out, I live tweeted during Dynamite, and that's the first time I've done that in probably months. And I had fun doing it, enjoyed it. I love doing some live tweet. So my live tweet during this one was whether or not Ethan Page could hit the Ego's edge on Bear Bronson, because Bear Bronson's a big boy. Let's just put it that way. But it happened because Bronson was on the top rope. Sky distracted the ref, allowing Ethan Page to hit the low blow on Bronson. And to my surprise, he picked the big man up and tossed him for the Ego's edge, getting the 1-2-3. In the post-match, Ethan grabbed the mic and said that just pinning Darby in the handicap match was not enough. He wants a match with Darby Allin in Miami, July 7th at the Road Rager. And not just a regular match. He wants a coffin match. Yes. I want that too. I want that very, very much. What are your thoughts about the match and the match announcement afterwards?
Okay, regarding the match, I'm not that big on Bear Country. I think it's because I've not seen a lot of them. I don't generally get the whole idea.
Yeah.
Like, another time, husband was in the corner. He went, "Why are they coming out looking like Leatherface?"
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the mask either. I'm with you on that.
I was a bit like, that's a point. Not my thing at the moment because, like I said, not seeing much of them. I did think about you regarding bears to begin with. You've got your issues with bears.
Chronic, we're thinking of you too out there, buddy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, bears, Cheez-Its.
But I love, I inverted comments, love Ethan Page. He's mean to Darby, so I don't love him, but I like his work. It's very complicated history that I've got. Anyway, so this was a good match. I don't understand why it happened. It might have been something that I have not seen on the dark. So, but why are we doing a Darby Allin coffin match? Why,
dude?
Why?
Because it makes sense. Put the nail in the coffin.
But oh my god, Darby's gonna think he's actually. Oh, I worry about that kid so much.
I can't remember.
He's gonna take it literal.
Yeah. Oh, this has potential for being a watch through your fingers or your hands are over your face kind of match. Because of what might happen.
I'm gonna need a pillow.
Yeah. Okay. Watching through the pillow. Just well, your husband won't be there. I was gonna say, just let him stand in the corner and describe the match to you with your pillow over your head. That sounds weird now that I've said it out loud. That sounds really weird.
I can see what's going to happen, right? I can already see it. He'll have put Ethan Page in the coffin. Yes. I can see that happening. Yeah. He's going to find a high point. He's going to coffin drop. But before he lands, Ethan's going to get out of the coffin and he's going to let Darby fall in the coffin and seal the coffin.
That's it. That sounds like the finish of the match right there.
And I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready.
That sounds like it. I don't know. Yeah, I just worried the coffin's going to explode with the power.
No, I can see that. And that Scorpio Sky is going to come in with he's going to borrow Hager's forklift. He's going to move the coffin and then put it in the ground and then bury it. And Darby Allin's missing for weeks.
Then we get the BTE segment afterwards where it shows Sky walk up to Hager backstage. Hey, buddy, can I borrow the keys to your forklift?
Yeah.
What?
But then my mind's gone on another trajectory. So he buries Darby Allin. Darby Allin does not show on Dynamite for weeks, right? Sting can't find him. Can't find him. And then one day, Ethan Page is in a match, and then zombie Darby Allin turns up.
Oh my goodness. No zombies. We already got one zombie in AEW. Abaddon's enough. That's all we need. And and I love Abaddon. I'm not saying no, but
I can just imagine Ethan
I don't want zombie Darby Allin though.
And genuinely freaking out. Or doesn't actually have to be zombie Darby Allin, but you know what I mean?
Okay.
Come back from the grave.
Yeah.
Coffin,
And
I get you. Ethan Page loses a match.
Just like he sees a ghost.
Because Darby Allin just happens to be standing in the crowd or something.
I could see something where it's similar to that, where
Yeah.
I remember it's like a little throwback to how Sting used to appear in the rafters
Yeah.
and kind of haunt the NWO. Just
Yeah.
have him appear in the crowd and then disappear. Like you see him, and then he sees him and distracts him, and all of a sudden he looks back and he's gone, whether he runs back through the crowd. It doesn't have to be supernatural.
No.
It just
No.
has
No.
to.
No.
It has to appear that way to Ethan Page, to where
Yeah.
in Ethan Page's mind,
Like rubs his eyes and then he's gone.
I just saw a ghost, but in reality, it's just Darby playing mind games with Ethan Page. So, yeah,
and this could be a
like
Darby
that.
Allin heel turn.
It could lead to that. This is a babyface reaction. You're getting babyface reaction for this stuff.
This is a babyface thing, but he could just then like be tormenting Ethan Page just this way for like weeks.
Mm-hmm. I like this fantasy booking we got going here. I like that.
I know.
Except for the real zombie part, which I know you didn't mean real zombie, but that did scare me for a second.
Zombie. I just kind of meant like coming back from like, you know, a coffin that's been in the ground.
I just saw Darby showing up with a zombie army, and I'm like, oh
no. I you know, just because he's come back from a coffin that was buried.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah,
Ethan can think it's a zombie.
Yeah. But I mean, as soon as they said coffin match, half of me went, no. The other half of me went, oh yes.
Yeah, that little devil on your shoulder. Who am I kidding? You have a devil on both shoulders.
that sick, twisted part of me was like, yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Sign me up.
All right. So next we saw a segment with Britt Baker, Reba, Rebel, and Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose in the back. And Baker said that after they beat Nyla and Vicky, they'll send them home with an autographed prescription for pain. And then Vicky says that when they beat Baker and Reba, Rebel, it will just solidify that Nyla is the true number one contender for Baker's Women's Championship. What do you think? Should Nyla be the number one contender for the championship? Look, and before you say anything, I haven't been as big on the build to this match. I was one, and I know you were like, no, I really don't care about Baker or Nyla. You said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
I aired more on the side of, man, I really want to see. I think they can build to a fun match, a fun program. To this point, I'll admit, I think I was wrong. Because this is not grabbed me like I thought it had the potential to grab me. Because I like Nyla. That's why I do like Nyla Rose. That's why I thought this could be really good.
Well. Yeah.
Just it isn't working so far for me.
But it's just because she's already been around the title. She's already had it. It just doesn't, you know, fill me with like, oh yay, wonder what's going to happen, because what's going to happen is she's not going to win it. So it kind of seems like the only thing I can think that they're doing it for is the surprise that Vicky Guerrero's got next week is the real thing that we're going towards.
Yeah, that it does feel like it's not the match; it's the surprise.
Yeah,
and
that's what I
could change.
Think it is for.
Yeah, and that could change the way we look at this whole program too. Is if that surprise becomes part of the build to their match, it could alter our perception of it. We'll just have to see how it goes.
I think once we get the surprise involved type thing, if you want to say, then it's definitely going to inform, because I think a lot of us kind of think we know who it is.
Possibly.
I mean, so, and especially, I'm just looking at the rankings now from, when's this from? 23rd of June. Nyla's already number one anyway.
Oh, she's already jumped to number one? I didn't know that.
She's already in number one at the moment on the 23rd of June.
Okay, so she passed
these haven't like regenerated from Dynamite just now. So,
okay.
But yeah, so as of the 23rd, she was already
She's
number one.
Okay, interesting.
So,
all right. So moving from the women's segment to the women's match for tonight, we had everybody's favorite alien, Chris Statlander, versus the Bunny of the Hardy Family Office. And I thought this was a solid match because we don't see the bunny enough. We've seen a couple matches with her recently, but every time we see Statlander, she is absolutely solid. She just keeps getting better. The match ended when the Blade handed the bunny a pair of brass knuckles with the ref distracted, but Orange Cassidy took them away, allowing Statlander to hit the Big Bang Theory for the victory. Afterwards, though, TH2 ran down on behalf of the Hardy family office and attacked Orange Cassidy. They held up Orange Cassidy as the Blade knocked him out cold with the brass knuckles. It's apparent they were leading to an Orange Cassidy versus the Blade match, it seems like. But beside that, though, what did you think of the match between Statlander and the Bunny and the shenanigans afterwards?
I love this match. I'm just slightly annoyed at AEW that we're back to putting the women's match here. This is like the women's slot again. We need more than one women's match. I'm sorry. All right. I know they're getting the women back from Japan, I think, in the next like few weeks or something.
Yes.
So we're going to have like the division bulked out again. But they need to stop having just one match. It's now getting beyond where I can now just go, oh, it's because of X, Y, and Z. We're now not at that situation. So why is this still happening? As of for like next week is the last Daily's Place thing. And after that, it's on the road, full crowds. By then, they better not be having one match because that's then kind of not looking great.
Yeah, when some of the women come back from Japan, I would love to see some of those open the show because they're such high energy. I think those could be a way to kick off the show and put the women in a more prominent light. I think that would be the perfect way to use those matches as openers. You don't have to open every show with that, but you put Yuka in an opening match.
More than one women's match and have it
obviously
anywhere. Have them anywhere else, but before the title match, like the main event. Like, it's beyond the point now of where it was well beyond the point anyway of being acceptable, but you could just about understand it because of the the pandemic situation.
Yeah,
it seems that that's being moved away from that now because of crowds are back and we've got it back on the road. So that can now not be the full thing. So from like Wednesday on, it's got to pick up because otherwise that's then just a general issue. There's nothing they can like hide behind by that point.
No excuse.
Regarding
really.
Orange Cassidy and the Blade, I'm 100% up for that because after what we saw last week with Orange Cassidy, I'm happy for him to move away from anything to do with that type of like situation because that was just not where he should be going because that's just like going backwards. I think with the Blade though, there could generally be some like interesting stuff because Orange Cassidy's Orange Cassidy, but when he goes, and we've seen what the Blade can do as well.
Yeah.
So I'm up for that. I want to see what goes on.
Yeah, because there's a lot more potential there too. Where, while I thought the match with him and the Wingman and all that, it was goofy. I thought it was more fun than you thought, and I honestly like not 90% of the IWC thought because I think the majority hated that.
Yeah.
So I was on the other edge by just a little bit. I agree that it was a weird spot to go to, but just aside, I thought it was fun. I thought it might be leading to Orange Cassidy versus somebody else from the Wingmen, whether it was Ryan Nemeth, possibly something like that. But it felt like it could have gone there, and that might have been the plan. But they may have listened to the fans and said, "Nope, we're switching gears. Here's what we're going to do." So it's a good sign. Again, that we talk about how AEW listens to the fans a lot. I thought it was going somewhere else, and it's obvious that they've more than likely changed gears because of what people thought. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign. And this opens the door for so many matches. It could end up with Orange Cassidy versus any member of the Hardy family office, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, that's the good thing about these large factions or having so many factions is because you can get so many matches out of this between members of those factions and to keep it fresh. So, I'm on board with Orange Cassidy versus the Blade. I think it could be good and a more serious move away from, like you said, and majority of everybody else said, a meaningless comedy feud that was happening last week.
Yeah.
So, yep. Now we move to the main event, and this main event was wow, in my opinion. I mean, okay. World champion Kenny Omega defending the title versus Jungle Boy. One of those, I'm not even going to say up-and-comers in AEW anymore, because I think in this match, he broke out of that up-and-comer moniker now.
Yeah.
To where he is, I think he put himself, and this says a lot about Kenny Omega too, because he has amazing matches. So people working with Kenny Omega can elevate themselves because they're wrestling against somebody who's so good, and it just says how great Omega is in the ring. But I think Jungle Boy just elevated himself, or was elevated to another level in this match. And Jungle Boy's family was in the front row, which again set the tone for this, is how important it was with his family there. But Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus were ejected from ringside before the match started, because Marco was arguing with the ref about the Good Brothers being out there. Because we know the Good Brothers in the Elite like to get involved in matches. That's how it is. So yeah, the ref ejected Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus, but he also ejected Gallows and Anderson, which gave the match a cleaner feel, because you had nobody at ringside. It set the tone for what we were going to get, and I love that. Absolutely. This match was, in a word, tremendous. There's a couple of times that Omega went for the one-winged angel, but Jungle Boy kept countering. And one time he countered with this epic reverse Hurricane Rana that I thought broke Omega's neck, man. It was just beautifully done. Beautifully done. It looked brutal. So later, Jungle Boy caught Omega in the snare trap, and the Good Brothers tried to run down and make the save or to break the hold up. But they were stopped by Luchasaurus, Marco Stunt, and the Elite Hunter, Frankie Kazarian. However,
I
Omega
so much when Kaz came out.
I know, man. It's great seeing him run out, even though he's messing up my boys. But Omega was still able to make it to the ropes to break up the move. Moments later, Jungle Boy locked in the snare trap again, but Omega gouged the eyes to break loose from the hold. Then he connected with a V-trigger and hit the one-winged angel. And we know what happens when Omega lands that one-winged angel. No one kicks out. And Jungle Boy did not kick out of this one. With the 1, 2, 3, Omega retained the AEW World title. Afterwards, Omega was about to continue his attack on Jungle Boy, but Christian ran out for the save. But Matt Hardy and Private Party were not far behind as they ran out and attacked Christian. Then who came out but my boys, the tag champs? The Young Bucks came down, and they gave Christian a super kick party for his troubles. The show goes off the air with the Bucks celebrating with Kenny Omega after his victory over Jungle Boy. But wow, what did you think of this main event?
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. I mean, like we said before we went on the podcast, we were saying like we knew Jungle Boy wasn't going to win because we know the future.
It's wrestling.
It's wrestling. But like I said to you, though, they made you forget that situation with this. This is just beautiful. And I don't get how people, A, think Kenny Omega is overhyped. B, how this title run isn't amazing. And C, that he can't storytell. Like, what is wrong with everybody?
No, he is amazing. I mean, period.
Like, look, we know what the situation. We know I'm Marks and you're all that stuff.
Yeah.
All that aside, you can't help but think this guy is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, he is good. And, like, you generally just sat there, like, you're watching history every time he's in a ring because he just brings everything out of everybody and himself. And it just makes it feel bigger, even if it is just the weekly Dynamite show and it's not on pay-per-view. It feels big.
Yeah.
And Jungle Boy, I mean, come on. Like, he is fantastic. Like, when all like Dynamite and everything started, and I first saw Jungle, I was like, I do not understand why everyone's like, oh my god, this guy. I was just a bit like, I don't see it. It didn't take me very long to like have my mind changed. Like the stuff he did with Jericho, like, and like all the like the TNT tries he's had, and I don't know, like he's genuinely fantastic, and he will have that title at some point. And I don't even think it's going to be like, you know, in 10 years' time. It's going to be sooner than that, because he's got everything that he needs now, and he just needs to, you know, just keep going at it, because whatever he's doing, it's working. He's just brilliant. We need to give a shout out as well to one of our friends on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Mulligan, aka
Yep.
at Wasabo Ryo. Jungle Boy fell on his wife. They were at the front when Jungle Boy fell. He fell on his wife, and I was just going, I know him from Twitter. And yes, so Jungle Boy fell on his wife, so they actually assisted Jungle Boy slightly in this match, which Don Callis picked up on, which I thought was brilliant.
That's a moment right there for them.
That is a moment that you have, because it's on Dynamite. You can go back and watch it whenever you want. That's just crazy.
I mean, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. And I literally was just then, because like this is again husband in corner. I was just like, I'm there going, okay, I'm never sitting on the front row or like the few rows at the front of any wrestling show, because if anybody lands on me, I'm going to be squashed because I'm tiny. And also, do you know what? It just
where did Sarah go?
Where did she go? She was there, then she went. And
she's gone.
The only thing is like, it just makes me want AEW to come to the UK so much. I literally am craving it now. I'm just like, I need it in my life. So AEW, if you listen,
make it happen.
Make it happen soon. Your girl needs to go.
But before you go there, come back to Atlanta one more time before you make that trip. Please. I want to go too. I want to go again.
You've already been.
I know. That makes me want it even more.
Go. Give somebody else a go.
You can. I'll just stop here and then head to the UK. It's fine. It's fine.
I want to turn.
And if somebody falls on me, I'm not taking a bath anymore.
I can just imagine like Matt Jackson. You're like, I am one with Matt Jackson.
Like 3 weeks later, man, you stink. No, I smell like Matt Jackson.
No, I smell like Matt Jackson. And also, can we just say, Young Bucks get up recently? Where are they getting their fashion tips from? It's like a blast from the 80s mixed with Shawn Michaels, mixed with Miami Vice.
That's just right. Like... We didn't even cover the Bucks promo, because they cut a promo earlier in the show too. We forgot that. I want to mention that earring that Nick had that went from his ear to his hat. I don't have any piercings, but I want that. Like, I want an earring that goes from there to my hat.
In that promo, there's like, because we're EVPs.
Extremely
violent people. I was just like, do you know what? Do you know the noise I made when I heard that? I went, ooh. Ooh. Eddie Kingston gonna kill ya. Main event, absolutely. But can I ask you this question?
You can.
Do you think Kenny Omega is slightly becoming a bit unraveled?
Yes, I think he is. I think because you could see him before the match started, like he just in the corner with his head in his hands. You know, I think he's getting. I think he's getting a little loony, especially like I think he, you know, from a character standpoint, he feels like he needs people there at ringside with him, because it's been part of the thing. So it's his moments when he's out there alone where he's a little bit.
Because he generally pushed the ref, and the ref pushed him over. Like that's not a same person thing.
No, he becomes a little frazzled when things don't go perfectly to plan, I guess you could say. Because, you know, we all know, we've all been there too. You got things lined out, just how they're going to go. One thing goes astray. Oh, whoa, no. Like,
Yeah.
it has to happen just like this. You know, a little bit of
Yeah.
OCD where you got to have it happen just like this.
Yeah, I can relate.
Or it's not right. Yeah, and I can a little. You know, everybody's got a little bit of OCD. Some people a little more extreme than others, but that's that's just how we are.
Yep.
But it kind of feels that way. If things don't happen just right, he could be a little.
Do you know what I think this is like quite clever? Because we all know like the Hangman storyline and the mental health and all that. Not not thinking he's worth it. Not wanting to avoid the Kenny Omega question because he doesn't want to remember like the situations that he was in with it. Yes. I think with Kenny Omega right now is another kind of interesting storyline mental health thing, if you want to look at it that way, because he feels he has to prove himself because he's got all these belts, which is what he / Don Callis wanted. So, and then he's like, Don Callis constantly pushing him to do this, to do that, to get that belt, to like. Then he's at Slammiversary. Then he's doing this. Then his schedule's like ridiculously packed. And when you're spinning all them plates, if you start thinking one's slipping, then you start going a bit like, you know, a bit unhinged, a bit egomaniac, you know, a bit like he may end up where he's like Hangman. Like when he starts losing the belts, he may end up being like Hangman, where he feels like there's no worth now type thing, where Hangman will have gained the one thing he wants. It could be an interesting like flip reversal.
Where Kenny's lost everything.
Where Kenny's lost everything. And then he then goes to Hangman, with like metaphor of his tail between his legs. And you just hope that then Hangman goes, no. Like, you weren't there for me. So deal with it, because all your friends have left you. Like Good Brothers go back to Impact. You know, all that type of stuff. Like, you can generally see that could be a way it goes.
Yep.
It's kind of like a thing if, like, if you overwork yourself and, you know, you then base your entire life off what you've achieved.
Yes,
then,
once that's gone.
And once that's gone, what do you have?
What are you left with?
Because that's like what Hangman did with the tag belts. Like, he based everything on them belts. And when they were gone and Kenny was gone, what did he have?
Because what if Kenny starts losing these titles and after the last one's gone, the Bucks have nothing to do with him and the Good Brothers have nothing to do with him. And Callis is like,
Callis will be gone.
I'm going back to Impact now.
Gone. Of course he will, because he's then not got Kenny bringing in the money. It's like like in the old days, like a prize fighter type thing. And once like you're done like a greyhound. Like once a greyhound's done racing, just they don't care. It's just very interesting, and I want the Bucks to keep their titles longer, so they can still be the heels. And then that kind of like you know, gets on Kenny, and then he gets worse than that. But yeah, I think that'd be an interesting way to go with it.
And I tell you, you know, we talked about Hangman. I forgot to mention, did you notice after he won his match that he stood in the ring for a second and just looked down?
Yeah.
There was that moment where, I won, but I realized I just took one step closer to what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Like, he wants to win these matches, but he doesn't.
It's like an anxiety thing, like an impending doom type thing. Like, if he has to face Kenny, he's got to face everything that he's basically drank away.
And it's those subtle things, like that little thing. It rewards you for paying attention, because if you're watching this as a just as a, you know, if you're watching it from the corner, like your husband, for instance, you probably miss that little subtle thing. You don't pick up if you haven't.
Corner.
Yeah. If you're a peripheral fan, though, if you're just kind of watching to watch and not really into it, you're not as rewarded as somebody who pays attention to the details. So these details aren't really important to the overall thing, but it means so much to the people that really pay attention, because that small gesture of looking somewhat deflated after a victory tells so much about that character. Yep.
Especially when he came out to like this over-roaring crowd and he like got taken back by it. You could see him like mouth some naughty words to himself. And and like the pace of it and everything. And then once you've had that high and you're on that come down, then you're a step closer to the place that you have to face everything. And Kenny's not going to, eventually, whenever this happens, Kenny is not going to be just Kenny Omega in the ring. There's not going to be just him. There's going to be everybody. And it's everybody that Hangman has associated with in the past. And it's all going to be like right in front of his face. A mountain for someone to climb. Mentally.
Yeah. He's having to go back through his past to find his future.
Yeah.
That's really what the story is. So.
Yeah. God, I love it.
Yeah. I know, man. The details, just love it. This. And next week's card looks pretty sharp too. We have next week we'll have the World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks versus Eddie Kingston and Penta. And if Kingston and Penta win, they earn a future title shot.
I don't want it to be Penta and Kingston. It should be Moxley and Kingston with them.
Yeah,
but they're not going to get it because we know what's happening.
He's on baby duty.
He's on being a daddy duty.
Baby duty. He's probably cleaning some baby duty right now. Been there, done that.
Don't want to go there. Ever.
We also have Britt Baker, AEW Women's Champion, and Reba Rebel versus Nala and possibly Vicky Guerrero. We'll see.
We'll see.
Then we have the TNT title match. The champion Miro defending against Brian Pillman Jr.
Woody, not just the champion, God's champion.
God's champion. Yes, God's champion. God cares about the TNT title.
He really does.
And what I assume this is going to be the main event. I think they may have said it is going to be the main event. I think they did. It is going to be MJF from the Pinnacle versus Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle.
I cannot wait for that.
There's so much at stake in a match with no titles. That's how you build a good main event. There's no titles involved, but yet there feels like there's so much on the line in this match.
It feels so huge.
So much.
This feels so huge.
So I hope the show closes with that match. I'm pretty sure it will, even though there's not a title involved. I just feels like that should be a show closing angle for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So next week back on Wednesdays, the last Dynamite at Daly's Place. It will be the farewell to Daly's Place. And I really hope they put on an awesome show. I'm sure they will for those fans there in Jacksonville. They have a nice send off. Leaving Daly's Place for a while. And although it's been fun watching wrestling at Daly's Place, I hope we don't have to see that place for a long time. I think we should. I want to see some.
It'd be so special when it goes back.
It will be, but I'm ready to see some new venues, some new setups.
I'd like to see some new places.
Yes.
This is how I tour America, like from my home.
Let's see what Miami looks like. And we will get to see that on July 7th when they hit the road again. So, and I love it. They're building these shows up. I mean, we already got matches booked for Miami that we know that's going to happen. So you're building anticipation for shows in the future, not just the next show, but the next show. So a lot of good stuff coming. Hitting the road again. Hitting the road.
We should also mention that next week's podcast, schedule may be a bit wonky.
Yes.
Because I dare take a holiday.
I know. She's going on vacation. But we're still bringing you stuff. We're still doing it.
We still have stuff. It might just be like the review might just be a little bit later than normal.
Yes, the review, it will be at least a day late. So normally we will have it up on Friday. The plan is to have it up on Saturday.
Yes.
that is the plan, and we should be able to do it. But if there are any more delays other than that, we will let you know. We'll
because
get
I
that up on the Twitter.
tried to get it so my family had everything they wanted, and the one thing I wanted was Wi-Fi, so I could watch Dynamite and I could do the podcast. And I then spoke to the place that we're going, because we have to stay in the UK at the moment. And I was like, so what's the Wi-Fi situation? And the nice lady on the phone was like, yeah, it's in like the cafe and the bar. And I was like, don't know how that would work. And that means everybody's on it as well. So I can't even like imagine like with really bad internet surrounded by people doing a podcast.
So either we're gonna have it on time and hear everybody at the bar.
Yeah.
Which, hey, that could be amazing. I'm actually kind of liking that more that we're talking about it. I'm kind of digging it. So, so it's either going to be on time and we get to talk to everybody at the bar, or it's going to be a day late and like this, where you can understand everything that's going on.
But don't worry. Also, I am suffering. I can't watch Dynamite till I get home on the Friday afternoon the following week. I go this Friday. I come back the following Friday. After I've picked my dog up, I can then watch Dynamite. I can then record a podcast. I can then go to sleep.
You won't sleep the whole week because you're wondering what's happening.
I'm going to be so annoyed because I don't even know if I'll be able to get on Twitter or anything. So if I am absent, and only randomly on, it is because I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere. In England.
But you're enjoying it. But relax. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your vacation.
I'll get to see my husband for more than 2 days a week, so that'd be great.
Enjoy that time. And also next week, because of her vacation, so selfish. I'm kidding. But we won't have a Q&A because we may try, we may attempt it, but there is a good chance, depending on her internet situation, that we will not be able to do a Q&A. But just keep an eye out on the Twitter, and we'll let you know for sure. Or I could just do it by myself. Trust me, you don't want that to happen. Listen, you don't want to hear me asking myself questions.
I've heard how he plans to do it, and you really don't want that to happen.
Yeah. My plan was to try to do the questions in a British accent, and then answer them in my Southern American accent. So
I do want to see how you do my accent now.
No, you don't. I've tried doing it before, and you make fun of me, so I'm not going to do it again. I'm not. That's a trap. I'm not falling into that one. So that is it. That's where I'm going to end the show before she tries to bait me into it again. We hope you enjoyed it. We absolutely enjoy doing this. We always do.
Indeed.
Please don't forget to follow the channel on Twitter at BeautyXTheBeard. You can follow me at LetTheBeardPlay, and you can follow Sarah at Strange_Pixie.
Yes.
Keep an eye out for our Q&A this week and our topic discussion this week, and then we will see you at some point next week for our Dynamite review and other goodies. So y'all be good out there, be good to each other, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.